In the headlines, Army says IED allegedly planted by ESN, IPOB blows up members in Imo. Federal government evacuates 166 victims of trafficking from Libya. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar receives PDP certificate of return as presidential flag bearer. And on the foreign scene, gunman kills 4 in Oklahoma Medical Center. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. An improvised explosive device, IED, allegedly planted by members of the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, and its armed wing, Eastern Security Network, ESN, has exploded, causing severe injuries to 2 members of the outlawed group. The incident occurred along Eke Ututu, Osu local government area of Imo State last Wednesday. A statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, said the dissidents inadvertently stepped on the IED, which they had earlier been planted along several routes in Osu local government area, while they were attempting to evade troops' onslaught against terrorists in the area. The outlawed group have severally planted IEDs along troops' patrol routes in a failed attempt to bring harm to the troops. He urged all peace-loving people in the southeast to inform troops of possible areas where these explosives have been buried for proper evacuation and disposal. The federal government has repatriated another 166 stranded Nigerians from Libya who were victims of human trafficking. Kabiru Musa, the charge d'affaires of Nigeria mission in Libya, said this in a statement made available on Wednesday in Abuja. Musa said the 166 evacuees departed Mitiga International Airport, Tripoli, and were expected to arrive in Nigeria via the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. He said that the voluntary evacuation was carried out by the federal government in collaboration with the International Organization for Migration and the support of Libyan authorities. And now to politics, where presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, on Wednesday received his certificate of return from the leadership of the party, with a declaration that the process of rescuing and rebuilding the country has just begun. Atiku, however, reminds the party that the task ahead is enormous and members must get to work immediately for the party to secure victory. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
It's the fallout of his emergence as the party's presidential flag bearer at the last Saturday's convention, defeating his closest opponent, Rivers State Nyesom Wike.
I want to congratulate him and congratulate all other aspirants who participated in this event. If they didn't participate, actually would have not been a successful event.
Atiku Abubakar is however not losing sight to the fact that there is urgent need to reach out to the aggrieved party members who are not pleased with the outcome of the just concluded convention.
Contested against me as a way to lead in that effort to unify the party so that we can face our real opponents, defeat them in the elections, and begin the process of rescuing and rebuilding this country.
Some party chieftains are however positive that the party will deploy its internal mechanisms to pacify the Southeast region, which is nursing the grudge of denying it the presidential ticket by discarding the zoning arrangement.
I'm telling you sincerely, the Southerners are not threatening anything. This is a family problem. And when you have differences in the family, they always come together to resolve it. And I am very confident that we are going to resolve it.
I believe that the party will strategically sit together and find how to deal with the matter. Is there anger? There's anger. Is there unhappiness? There's unhappiness. The people that were already feeling marginalized now feel completely ignored, not just being marginalized, they're ignored.
The major opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, lost central government to the All Progressives Congress, APC, in 2015 when it was voted out by the Nigerian electorates for failing to meet their expectations after 16 years on the saddle. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, delegates participating in the primary elections being conducted by different political parties at different levels are now being seen as celebrities in Nigeria. This is due to the narrative that huge sums of money are exchanging hands during the primary elections. In this report, a cross-section of Kaduna residents bear their minds on the narrative.
The belief that primary election delegates are the latest millionaires in town is voiced in all nooks and crannies of the Nigerian states. Here in Kaduna, the story is the same. On social media, it is trending as the status of some delegates have changed overnight. A video surfaced online where a man believed to be a delegate just bought a new car. In the video, he is being praised, while a voice is heard saying in Nigerian's pidgin English, "Delegate Sweeto." Trust TV is yet to verify the authenticity of the claim, but that is the belief around town this season. Today, many wish they were or are delegates because of monetary gains involved. Since no one has formally come out to verify this claim, it leaves many wondering if it is just hearsay or money indeed changed hands.
Some may see them as highly placed because of the money they got from the primaries. Some may have seen them as dangerous people because of the money that took them. And instead of doing the right thing, they sold their conscience to a wrong candidate. So to my own, I see them as betrayers.
Everybody wants to be a delegate today. That is the talk of the town. Everybody wants to be a delegate. You get my point? Even to the extent that people are ready now to buy form, if possible, to pay to become delegates. Just like what we had in the case of all these political parties where you must buy form to become delegate. So Nigerians are ready now because they've seen that you can easily make money by becoming a delegate of a particular political party.
Well, to me, delegate might not be valued after the primary election, honestly speaking, because if the masses have been allowed to, nominate who they want to represent them, it will have been a better picture entirely. It will have painted a better story.
While close allies of some delegates say the delegates are still smiling, some residents of Kaduna believe that negative consequences await them for shortchanging the destinies of millions.
Frank and honest, some, I want to believe they have never gone back to their various places because they know very well they will be haunted. Just like yesterday around my area, some people will pick either they are delegates or not, but probably they believe that is the kidnappers. They believe they may have one relation or two that must have benefited from this money.
They will be looked at differently. The masses right now are angry with the delegates because they feel the delegate did not do what they want. They didn't elect who they want. The relationship between the masses and the delegate is sour.
How credible are these delegates? Some of them whom we know, they could not even write their names. You get my point? And they determine who takes what and the direction Nigeria will go in the future elections. So it is true that, and that is why the politicians today are capitalizing on that to make sure that, because they've seen that these delegates are not credible, they can be bought. And that is exactly what is taking place today, especially in the just concluded primaries across the political parties, where you see that aspirants must pay so amount of money before delegates can be convinced to cast their vote for such candidate.
For Jacob Zango, if sanity is needed in the election process, the delegate system must be abolished.
The issue of delegates, to me, should be done away with. Let INEC think of how they will do it straight. See, when you say you want to control the flow of money politically, okay, think of how they will spend. It's not yet the general election.
As Nigeria awaits the presidential primaries of ruling APC, eyes are on APC delegates to see what plays out.
And ahead of the June 30th deadline for the suspension of continuous voters registration exercise, the Independent National Electoral Commission in the FCT has called on eligible voters that are yet to collect their PVCs to take advantage of the remaining weeks to get registered, as the Commission has made adequate arrangements to ensure a successful process. The resident electoral commissioner for the FCT, Yahya Bello, made the call following complaints of inaccessibility of the portal, as well as frustration from the physical biometric data capturing process, collection of PVCs, among others, at INEC offices within the FCT. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu has more.
As the online pre-registration portal is closed, the rush for physical data capture at the various centers of the Independent National Electoral Commission within the FCT has become overwhelming. These registrants who express their frustrations attest to this.
We've been here writing our names since as early as 5 in the morning. Till now, they've not attended to us. And it's very bad. They are trying to frustrate our efforts so we can't vote. But the truth is that no matter what they do, as long as they give me my card, I'm going to vote.
Since last week, the crowd is just frustrating. So I wrote, like yesterday, I wrote my number. I was 296. Today now I was thinking they will continue with yesterday's number, but now they are telling me they started a new one today.
They are not doing register now. They are doing online. And since yesterday, they don't close online. So I begin to beg them. They later do it for me. Since morning, it's just now I'm coming out.
Resident Electoral Commissioner for the FCT, Yahya Bello, says the Commission has made adequate provision to attend to registrants, especially those who boycott some centers due to the cumbersome process.
Here, we have a lot of personnel to do that. We are going to add more machines because, typical of our own behavior in Nigeria, we are going to wait until the last moment. We have been doing this continued voter registration for a long time.
He noted that the Commission is in partnership with the National Orientation Agency, civil society organizations, and members of political parties to ensure a smooth exercise and urge eligible voters to collect their permanent voters' cards.
And we continue to do with them so that people are more aware. It's no question, we are also not doing continue, but we are also the issue of collection of the PVCs. These PVCs have been on the ground, Anyway, we will come to the issue of collection of PVC this June and after. It is the CVR, the portal, the online has been closed. Physical capturing will continue until that, but the collection of PVC will continue until the end of this year.
Although millions of Nigerians have registered since the inception of the online and physical continuous voters registration exercise, which commenced in May 2021, many are yet to collect their printed PVCs from previous INEC registrations. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. Still to come on the news, State Governor lending support to pastoralism. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now a look at our top stories. Army says IED allegedly planted by ESN IPOB blows up members in Imo. And federal government evacuates 166 victims of trafficking from Libya. And moving on to other news now, as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to celebrate World Milk Day, the federal government has been tasked to encourage modern-day ranching. Extreme violence associated with cattle rustling and traditional cattle breeding have contributed to the inadequate production of milk for every Nigerian household. The report.
This year, the theme of the United Nations Milk Day is to highlight and accelerate climate action and help reduce the dairy sector's impact on the planet. But in Nigeria, experts say unfavorable climatic conditions associated with dairy production may not be the major concern compared to the violent and traditional practice of moving with the cattle from one place to another in search of pastoral land. Senior agricultural advisor of the Nigerian Governors Forum said deliberate efforts should be put in place to change the traditional practice of cattle breeding to modern-day practice for wealth creation.
There is what we call zero grazing. Zero grazing means you keep your livestock in one place. Instead of the livestock to trek and look for the food, you look for the food for the livestock and give them. Instead of the livestock to trek to look for water, you provide the source of water and then the livestock will be there. That's zero grazing. And the concept is simple. You get a small area of land, you fence it, you do a permanent water source. There are plenty of grass species, you understand, that you can actually introduce, and then you can be planting the grass year round. Then secondly, you can do a small veterinary clinic because of the animals, a small maternal and child clinic because of the herdsmen and their families, a small market for their transaction, a small road access, etc. And before you know it, they will be permanently settled and the milk production will increase.
Janabasi Akpaniyang, a director of the Dairy Ranchers Association of Nigeria, said with about 200 million of cattle in Nigeria, the country only contributed 40% of milk due to insecurity and open grazing.
Government at all levels, not just the federal government, the state governments and even the local governments should be helping us to sort out, because we have issues with cattle rustling, even milk that is collected within the rural communities before they get to the factories. We have people being kidnapped and all that. So insecurity is endemic at the moment in the country, and we need things like this to be sorted out so we can operate freely within the environment.
Nigeria is said to be the 5th largest cattle herd in Africa, following Ethiopia, Sudan, Chad, and Tanzania, with about 200 million cattle. Experts suggested that the country must also review its approach to cattle banditry and the increasing menace of Boko Haram ISWAP in the northeast.
Meanwhile, the governor of Niger State, Abubakar Sani Bello, has solicited support for pastoralists in Nigeria to make up for the gap between farmers who enjoy government support and pastoralists who do not enjoy any of government's intervention. The governor made this known at an event organized by Miette Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria in conjunction with Northern Consensus Movement. Gaza Yakubu reports.
The Miette Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, in conjunction with the Northern Consensus Movement, has organized an event to help address problems facing the country. The event with the theme National Security Summit on Pastoralists had in attendance the governor of Niger State, who calls for justice for the pastoralist.
When, as a governor, I can't tell you, every year we have floods. When there are floods, we provide palliatives to farmers that have lost their farms or their crops. When a young friendly boy loses his cattle to cattle rustlers, no one even knows. No palliative. So the time has come for government to play a major critical role to address some of these anomalies.
While preferring solution, the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Muhammad Abubakar, said resources have been approved for the new grazing reserves.
The current administration, the President himself has approved a large sum of money for the tracing and the establishment of new grazing reserves. So far, we have started. It has taken off one, that has been launched in Nasarawa. This is just the beginning.
The Mayati Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria and the Northern Consensus Movement expressed concern over the stigmatization of pastoralists in the country, noting that they are also victims of the situation.
The pastoralist is at the receiving end of every single crime in this country that is taking place today. So we have gathered here to at least allow the media to know our side of the story, to also request the media and plead with them to be fair to us in their reportage. The media cannot hold us or ransom for crimes perpetrated by few elements among the Fulanis.
The summit is to help address the problems facing the country, especially in the northwest, ranging from kidnapping, banditry, and cattle rustling. Gaza Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Federal Executive Council has approved measures in response to the latest report from the Ministry of Finance for the first quarter GDP performance of 2022. Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed admitted that the country's improving economy was not impacting positively on Nigerians. She revealed this on Wednesday to newsmen at State House, Abuja, after a meeting of the council. Kende Omodu reports.
The Nigerian economy has grown by 3.1% in the first quarter of 2022, compared to a growth of 0.5% in the first quarter of last year. The report implies that there is gradual economic stability from the recession witnessed in 2020 after 6 quarters of positive growth. But the finance minister admits that these positive indices will not be directly felt by the people unless there is growth in most sectors, especially those that impact on jobs.
We also reported to Council that inflation has started going upwards to the extent that the monetary authorities, the central bank, have had to adjust the MPR to 13% in the last MPC that they have met, and that's an attempt to manage the cost of inflation. So Council has decided to set up a special effort to look at the sectors that are not growing and also to look at how we can grow the other sectors better.
Also on Wednesday, the Council of Ministers gave the go-ahead for the execution of an MOU between NNPC Limited and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. This will result in the construction of the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline.
This pipeline is to take gas to 15 West African countries and to Morocco, and through Morocco to Spain and Europe.
Meanwhile, the cabinet approved contracts for the Nigerian Police Trust Fund, totaling over 8.3 billion naira.
What we're having now have been assembled from the output of the end user, that is the Nigerian Police Force. And we believe by the time these items are on ground, they will go a long way in improving the efficiency and the effectiveness of Nigerian police in the maintenance of peace and security in the country.
The contracts approved were for the purchase of 82 operational vehicles, supply of customized police raincoats and customized police boots, as well as customized instructional materials for the police colleges and schools. From State House, Abuja, Kende Amodu, Trust TV News.
And in business news now, the 16th Islamic Development Bank ISDB Global Forum on Islamic Finance opened in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, to discuss the role of social innovation and entrepreneurship in confronting poverty and fostering shared prosperity among member countries. Under the theme Social Entrepreneurship for Shared Prosperity, the forum is coinciding with the 2022 annual meeting of the Islamic Development Bank ISDB Group. President of the bank, Mohammed Al Jasser, will deliver the opening speech, while Hala Helmi Al Said, the Egyptian Minister of Planning and Economic Development and ISDB Governor, will deliver a keynote address. Prominent development practitioners and experts in social innovation will discuss the intractable social problems facing humanity and some of the best ways to address the challenges. And on the foreign scene, a man armed with a rifle and handgun opened fire inside a medical building in Oklahoma on Wednesday, killing 4 people in the latest of a series of mass shootings in the United States. The gunman also died apparently of a self-inflicted wound. Tulsa's Deputy Chief Eric Dalglish told reporters outside the St. Francis Hospital. The shooting comes 8 days after an 18-year-old man armed with an automatic rifle burst into Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, and killed 19 children and 2 teachers, and just more than 2 weeks after a shooting at a Buffalo supermarket by a white man who is accused of killing 10 black people in a racist attack. U.S. President Joe Biden has been briefed on the Tulsa shooting, the White House said in a statement, adding that the administration had offered support to local officials. And in sports, the Ministry of Culture and Sports of the Kingdom of Spain and the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development of Nigeria on Wednesday in Madrid, Spain, signed a memorandum of understanding to promote relationships, cooperation and collaboration in the areas of sports. The MOU formed part of the bilateral agreements reached by the 2 countries during the state visit of President Muhammadu Buhari to his Spanish counterpart, King Felipe VI, the King of Spain. Other areas of the agreement include economy and trade, health, tourism and science. The aim of the agreement for sports cooperation is to initiate and build collaboration in the area of sports, as well as strengthen the bilateral exchange between both countries on the basis of reciprocity according to their competencies and mutual benefits in the field of sports. Some of the specific areas in cooperation include building, development and management of sports relations and institutions, exchange of knowledge in the areas of sports, science, technology and medicine, and also in the fight against doping. And with that, we wrap up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.